You really got yourself into a mess this time. I mean, look at you. How does this sort of thing even happen? I swear, no matter how many adventures we go on together, you always seem to surprise me somehow. Were you being reckless again? I don't think you need another lecture from me about making sure you're taking all the proper precautions. Just because you have a healer in the party doesn't mean you can go off doing anything you want. It's dangerous out there. And I'd much rather have you healthy than have to patch you up all the time. I mean, you see me more than anyone else in the group. Don't get me wrong, I love getting to have time together that's just the two of us, but it would be better if I didn't have to look at all of these wounds. You really are a handful. But, alright, you already know how this goes. It'll be a little cold at first, but I'll ease into it and be gentle so it's not so startling. Might be a little sticky and it might sting for just a second, but otherwise it shouldn't be too uncomfortable. There we go. If you need a break at any point, just let me know. I know it's not the most pleasant experience, but hopefully you think about that next time you dive headfirst into danger. When I was younger, I grew up hearing so many stories about adventurers. My parents actually met in a guild. I don't know if I've talked about that before. And growing up, they'd tell the best stories. Daring quests. Perilous dungeons. The craziest assortments of party members that you'd never think would get along, but somehow made it work. I was honestly a little jealous, because I didn't think I could ever do the kinds of things that they did. When I was younger, it wasn't apparent what kind of slime I was. You know, things like poison, magma, acid. You learn very quickly what sorts of things you're capable of. And it's not like I was very strong either. I can barely hold a short sword without my arms turning to jelly. I wasn't very charismatic, and I'm no good at stealth when just moving around makes so much noise. So I just figured I wasn't cut out for it. Then, one day, I realized that my slime had all sorts of healing properties. And you know how dangerous it is being an adventurer. I don't have to tell you that. Clearly, you've learned that lesson more than enough times. Only a few actually live long enough to tell those stories. It's why I firmly believe that every adventuring party needs a good healer. I may not have the glory of warriors and fighters and warlocks, but I still get to see the world, travel the oceans, traverse the mountains, deserts, caverns, rainforests. We've seen it all together, haven't we? It's been such a wild journey. Even with my healing, I honestly wasn't sure if I was fit to be in an adventurer's party. Even though it was something I grew up admiring, I'm not really the best with people. I just get so nervous. I feel my heart rise into my throat, and it beats so fast at the thought of talking to people I'm not too familiar with. I get all clammy, my slime gets all droopy. Even talking to you sometimes makes me feel like I'm going to melt all over the place. And we've been adventuring together for how long now? I'm just not the best at communicating how I'm feeling. I always just wait and hope that people will come to me. And then I can go along with whatever it is that they want or need. I mean, we only ever really talk one-on-one when you're in need of healing, which is nobody's fault but my own. I'm not saying this to make you feel badly or anything. I mean, you're always so busy, so if I wanted to talk to you, I should be the one taking initiative, right? But that's something I'm clearly lacking. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Sorry, just thinking aloud, I guess, to fill the silence so I don't get too nervous, since this is going to take me a while. One of these days, I swear you're going to come back to me half dead with how beaten up you managed to get. Honestly, I don't even think this is going to be enough this time. Some of these wounds go pretty deep. I can't even imagine what you were doing. But, I can still take care of this. But, it's, a little more awkward if we got closer, like almost hugged a bit. I could better apply the slime, but if that's too weird, we can just stop into town and get you to a doctor when we can. But I think that will be at least a few days' journey. It's not ideal, but it's certainly less uncomfortable. I don't know the extent of the pain you're in, but that's always an option. Just do it. If that's what you want me to do, then okay. Just tell me to stop if I get a little too close or you change your mind. I don't think it's possible for two people to get any closer than this. But if you're not nervous, then there's really no reason for me to be. I just need to relax a little. I'm just not really used to being this close to someone. It's surprisingly nice. I hope that's not too weird to say. I just usually keep to myself. This is different. It's nice. You know, I've always wanted to get close to you, but I never imagined it would be so literal. We've been in the party together for so long, and I just have always really admired you. You're so brave, so courageous, doing so many incredible things, even if you get yourself into a little too much trouble. And I've always considered myself to be a bit of a coward. I can barely even talk to people without feeling my insides melt, let alone go into the heat of battle. So, seeing someone like you, I just think you're incredible. And it's not like I ever want you to be hurt, but I do get excited when you come over here asking for help. Because when I'm doing my job, I get a lot less nervous. Because you need me, and I can't just ignore someone who needs my help. So it becomes a bit easier to talk. And I have such fond memories of our journeys together. Our party was basically nothing when we got started. So inexperienced, struggling to get through even basic dungeons. But we somehow always got by. We made up for the skills that the others lacked. I couldn't fight, but I kept you all strong and energized. You maybe aren't the most graceful, but you more than make up for it in strength and combat skills. We have members that specialize in magic, and members that know a lot about history and navigation. even if they're a bit weaker in other areas. I just think it's really neat, because alone we probably couldn't have accomplished any of the things we have. It's only because we're together. Without me, you'd probably be bleeding out in a cave somewhere, and without you, I probably would have never left my hometown. So, thank you for lending me some of your courage, because that day in the guild I was fully prepared to just walk out and go back home. That maybe I couldn't do it after all. But you found me before I had the chance. And while others have come and gone, it's always been the two of us. I think my favorite memory was the day we raided that dragon's den. I don't know how well you remember because you suffered a pretty bad concussion, but it was the one time I actually got close to the action. I don't know what you were thinking. It was absolutely insane, but honestly, I don't know what I was thinking either since I agreed to it. I guess we were both insane. Using me as a distraction because of how quickly I can move. I didn't want to for obvious reasons. Who wants to be dragon bait? But you promised me I'd be okay. That no matter what, you would protect me. And I trusted you. I've always placed my faith in your hands. And maybe that's a little silly of me, considering how quick you are to get injured. But when you told me that, I knew you were telling the truth. There was no doubt in my mind that you'd protect me. And so I did it. The adrenaline rush was unlike anything, and in that moment I kind of realized why adventurers do the things they do. Why they face all the danger and risks. Because that feeling, that rush, that sense of satisfaction when you'd managed to retrieve the artifact, it was unlike anything I'd ever felt in my entire life. And back at camp, when I was, of course, tending to your wounds, because your reckless self had hit your head falling off the dragon's back, you made me feel like a hero. I think about that day a lot. Are you starting to feel better? You shouldn't be feeling any pain anymore. You're almost all patched up again, ready to dive into the next danger head first. Just be careful. If not for yourself, then for me. I think it had shattered my heart if one day your injuries were more than I could take care of. We've been lucky that we haven't lost many members on our journeys, but I can't even say it. I care about you too much. You've been my closest friend that I've probably ever had. Which maybe is sad since most of our time spent together is with our party, but I just couldn't bear to see anything happen to you. I want to say something so badly that I know I shouldn't. But now even mentioning it, you're probably going to poke me about it. Words just aren't easy for me. Feelings can make everything so complicated. And I like when everything is simple. It's familiar. It's stable. But I didn't think I'd ever do anything special. Too shy. Too weak. Too scared. I wanted to go on adventures, but I didn't have the guts. Then you come along, someone who is all guts, all courage. And you showed me a brand new world. Made me feel useful. Made me feel like maybe I could be special. Just like you. With the right encouragement, of course. All of this is my really convoluted way of saying I can't imagine life without you anymore. And the more I was around you, the more that admiration maybe became something else. And I was fully set on keeping that to myself. I mean, the thought was absolutely mortifying. But being here with you, so close, it's hard to ignore. I like you a lot, and I want to continue to see the world with you for as long as we're able. I want to spend more time together, just the two of us, when you're not injured. I want to be with you. Now I think I really am going to melt. That was really hard to say, but at the same time, it just came out so naturally. It's something I've been holding inside for so long. But, you're looking a lot better. You could probably go wash off if you wanted. And if you don't feel the same way, then we can just... I see. You're supposed to be the strong one. So tell me why it took me almost melting into a puddle of goo for all of this to finally be said. I guess even the most courageous of people still get scared. You know you don't have to throw yourself at death's door to get my attention. A simple dinner would do just as well. Well, I still need to check up on the others, so why don't you wash off all that slime and we'll chat some more later tonight? Perfect. I'll be looking forward to it.